Well, I've wanted to be a firefighter since I was a little kid, probably about the age of 5. I think like most 5-year-olds, I looked up at firefighters as larger-than-life figures, the American hero, so to speak, and so I've wanted that ever since I was a child. Got lucky and hit the lottery and got the career that I chose rather than a career choosing me. My very first stop in emergency services was with the City of Detroit Fire Department as a paramedic in the early 90s. I stayed there for 3 years. It was a very high-intensity environment that provided a lot of experience, but for myself and my family, I thought there was better opportunity, so I moved on from there. So 30 years ago, you had to have firefighter credential and EMS credentials, and 30 years ago, getting on the fire department was a very difficult achievement. There were not very many jobs, so back then you kind of took the job that presented itself, and that was the first opportunity to get my foot in the door and kind of led to where I'm at today. I would say probably, if I'm being honest, the emotional impact. We certainly see a lot of things that the average person doesn't see, and we see it on a regular basis. So it requires a good, healthy lifestyle and a mechanism outside the job to kind of decompress. So I always recommend to firefighters that when you're off duty, be off duty. And, follow your hobbies or your heart, or find something that kind of takes you away from this job so that you can decompress.
So when you're not here, what are you doing?
I'm an avid hunter. So in the fall, in the spring, I chase turkeys and deer. And I'm also involved in a charitable organization known as the Detroit Shriners, which is a philanthropy and with an emphasis or focus on medical care for children that otherwise can't afford it. So I do a lot of charitable work on the side. We have a great deal of fun doing it, and it helps me remember that in my life, like most people, I have very little to complain about. I think getting acclimated to the Mount Clemens way of doing things. The fire department is one industry where there's several ways to do any given task. So although I'm familiar with firefighting per se, things are done a little bit different in Mount Clemens than they were in Taylor or Detroit, for instance. So me figuring out the Mount Clemens way and getting used to the policy and procedures, the city procedures, payroll, that type of thing, bringing myself up to speed from an administrative perspective. Well, this is a single station fire department with only 4 men on duty per day currently, so that presents some operational challenges that we have to adjust to. So at the end of the day, we're still fighting fires, but we're doing it with different resources, if that makes sense. Yeah, I think my number one priority right now is going to be training for the men. And so what I mean by training is drill, okay? The Mount Clemens Fire Department has been a paid professional fire department since 1888. They certainly don't need me to teach them how to fight fires. What they need me for is to be a resource to make sure that they have the training opportunity and the resources they need to improve their skills so that when they go out to service the community, which is really where this whole thing matters, that they're as effective and efficient as they can be. One of the things that I'd really like to do is start an outreach program here to introduce myself to the community and to let the community know that the firefighters are also available to come to the school and teach, fire safety and education, stop, drop, and roll, 911, the difference between a toy and a tool for the toddlers and the little ones. So, yeah, we're a community resource that part of what we do is prevention and education as well, so we want to focus on that as well. I can tell you this, I'm very happy with the Mount Clemens Fire Department. I think it's a professional organization that performs exceptionally well. The firefighters here are of high caliber and have a great deal of fortitude, that is for sure. These men are definitely not afraid to fight a fire. I've looked at some historical records here, and Perhaps the average citizen doesn't know this, but these men have actually saved people from fires on multiple occasions. So the work that they do is, they're doing it well.